Today I'm changing the front wheel bearings and hubs on a 2013 Toyota Venza with a 3.5 liter engine in it. I'm just going to go over the process with you really quickly. Once you take off the tire, you'll want to take off the brake caliper and support it somehow off to the side. And then you want to take off the rotor. Now on the rotor, there are little holes in the rotor to where if it won't come sliding off, just get a bolt and go up in those two holes and twist it in, and the rotor will come right off usually. Once you get the rotor off, you can let go of the axle nut. Now the axle nut is a 30 millimeter 12-point socket. Once you get that off, you can let go of the tie rod. Now, instead of using a puller, you can hit the side of it in order to get it off. An air hammer works great like this if you have one. So once you take that off, take off your anti-brake sensor, and then you want to take the three bolts off on the bottom here, and then take off the strut bolts on the top. After you do all that, the spindle assembly should come right off. It's pretty easy to get off. Now whenever you go to change the bearing, it's a little bit more difficult. The first thing that you're going to want to do is get the ring out that sits in here. Just pull it out. Just get a pair of pliers. Be careful, don't bend it up. I usually get a pair of pliers and then take out this lock ring right here. It's not too bad to take out. I usually get a screwdriver on the end of it to push inward over here, and then get another screwdriver underneath it and pry it upward. And then once it starts working, you can usually pop it right out. Now, once that happens, you'll have to probably use a press to get onto the hub and press the hub through. And it helps to have a lot of different size sockets, maybe some old bearing races or some drivers like this to help you do it. And then also have you some blocks of wood, and then have you a press like this one. It is possible to do everything with just a regular basic shop press. Once you get the spindle out, you'll want to press the bearing out in the opposite direction. Just use blocks of wood to support it and press it out. Like I said, if you use a bearing driver like this, it'll go directly on top of it, and it'll push it out pretty quickly. If it ends up coming apart on you, don't worry, you'll just have to find another driver or something to fit down in there to get it out. Sometimes they can be a little pain to get out. Now whenever you put the bearing back in, the surface right here is really flat. You'll be able to put it back up on your press and use a steel plate, kind of like this one here. Put this plate on the press is going to be there, and then put the assembly on top of it, and then put your new bearing on top of there. And you can use your old bearing as a press basically to put it on top, and then get you either the driver or a piece of wood or something on top of that to press it back in. Now, the way that this sets in here, you don't have to worry about pushing the driver, whatever you're using to drive it, into the hole, because you can push it all the way in until it sets flush, and you'll still be able to get this out. It won't press into the actual section that the bearing's going in. But once you press it back in, make sure you put your spring back in, your lock spring, and then put your other little piece in there, and then just do everything else in reverse. Now I know sometimes it takes a little while to get the bearing out. Just be patient. Be careful whenever you're using the shop press. Make sure you wear some goggles in case stuff starts flying. Just kind of pay attention to your press so that you don't put too much pressure on there. It should come out pretty easily with the press. If it doesn't, then you can always use your air hammer and drive the bearing out with it. you'll flip it upside down and get it against the ground, hold it with your feet, and use an air hammer to get it out, which takes a little while, but it can be done. And then you can use a driver like this on the, where you'll use the air hammer and beat it to get it out. But other than that, thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe, and I look forward to making the next one.